Hello and welcome to the Blood on the Vine Tavern in Ravenloft, the setting for our level 12 episode of Purple is the Chosen One. Sitting here on the owlbear rug, warming ourselves in front of the fire, having just completed most of the first part of the Ravenloft chain, the level 10s. Been doing very nicely. Plenty to tell you from this one. Quests, I said I was going to do White Plume. We had a good go at that. I noted that, when you get to the, I think it's on the right hand path, the one that ends with the shadows, you get to a sort of a jumpy section, and if you decide to do the jumping thing, sometimes there can be a row of bugbears over on the other side, which can be a little bit problematic if you're still trying to jump over the things when they're, I'm guessing they start hurling things at you when they see you. Except this time I hit the Holy Smite, it blinded all of them, and they politely waited for me to negotiate the jumping area before being slaughtered by the Scorch that we have. So that was very nice. The Shadow Crypt that came after, all I've got to say about that is good and light magic in there. The likes of these single targets and also the Holy Smite. Just, oh my goodness. Things got absolutely blown away in there. That was a great deal of fun, I can tell you. I think the whole thing in general, the wrath of God and all this kind of stuff, as I've never played this kind of thing before, neither as a cleric nor the favoured soul. It's been really immersive, really fun, and damn effective as well. I mean, I've said this before, some of the things that traditionally are difficult, certainly undead, difficult for most builds, but also the wisps, they can be a pain in the backside for especially for a build that's like focused on one particular element. If the wisp happens to be resistant or worse, still immune to that, and you have no way to break that, it's pain time. But the light goes through them just fine. In fact, on a crit, the sunbolt is one-shotting them just fine from a distance, where they can't do anything back to us. So happy days. On that note, the prodigious distance and the quick cooldown these things have, it's almost like having access to a bowfire when you need it. The section, we also did the level 10s in the marketplace, the Dragonborn ones, and the section in Black and Blue where you're going over, well, several sections of the electric water with the islands, and there's just like single targets all over the place, aren't there? Strewn all over the place on their individual islands. Now these things, it's basically anything you can see you can kill, and in several cases they were just getting one shot by these. So very satisfying and very practical for avoiding, killing and not being killed, because we were getting the first hits in. Now on that note, I'm definitely considering having a look at the enlarge meta magic for use going into the epics. If you didn't know, enlarge doubles the range on many of your spells. It might be overkill because we've got things that can do that anyway, but to get our Holy Smite, for instance, at double range, and prepare things in advance before they have chance to move and scatter. Because what seems to be happening at the moment, often enough, I'm targeting things with like the sound burst. The burst is going to where they were when I targeted them, and they're stepping forward, having seen me already, and avoiding the stun. So I'm thinking if in the fullness of time we can hit from further away with stuff like this, and keep them all together, hit them with that, and then maybe follow up with something like this, or this marvellous new Comet Fall SLA that we've just acquired, of which more later. I think that could be a viable strategy. Plus, it'd have the effect of keeping us safe, wouldn't it? Hit from extreme distance, incapacitate the things, and finish them off before they've had a chance to notice you. That strikes me as a damn decent possibility. Um, Feet for level 12, it was quite an engaging choice. I haven't mentioned enlarge on here because I've only just thought of it, but there was spell focus evocation we definitely could have gone for our spell DCs. Empower heal for the what's it called, close wounds, and any possible healing SLAs we might come up with in epic. Heighten, which if you didn't know boosts any spell up to the maximum level that you can cast. For us that's currently 6. So for example, if we put Heighten on the Soundburst, which is a level 2 spell I think, we would get 4 extra on that DC, which is very nice. But we would have to pay, for each level heightened, we'd have to pay extra spell points for that. I definitely plan to take that one going forward into the epics. I think that might be the last one we take before hitting epic, because I do plan to lean heavily on the sound burst, because it's gonna, if it anything it stuns is subject to extra damage for being helpless afterwards, so that would be a great one to lead with. So that was heightened, and the one I ended up taking, rightly or wrongly, I guess there's no wrong choice, all of those would have been competitive I think, but I went with force of personality to move our will save from wisdom, which is basically a dump stat this level, onto charisma, which is our main one. So there's an 11 difference there, and as you can see now we have a high will save for the level that we're at. So I thought that might be a thing, because there are certain things, I know we have the freedom of movement anyway, but I think there are certain things like charms and is there something called command as well that can just have you knocked down if you fail a save. Generally speaking, the will saves are the ones where if you fail, something quite nasty happens and can often result in a death. So I thought we'd go for that, rightly or wrongly. You tend to have one possibility. We did it last life, remember, with the insightful reflexes. You tend to have one possibility to replace one of the saves with what happens to be your prime stat that life. So last time it was intelligence for the wizard, and we had intelligence for reflex instead of dex, which we dumped. And this time around we've dumped wisdom and used charisma for the will save. So what have we done gear wise? Have we done anything in fact gear wise? I don't think I have, but I can discuss maybe one or two of the options that that one of you's already mentioned. No, it's stayed all the same, the gear. The last change was the golden greaves. Now I have found up to this point a couple of little bits that might have yes I know, Abba, the bag is flooded. Some bits that might be of interest for our next time around, because I've kind of tuning into collecting for that now. So Vistani fighter stash for a monk that makes use of stun and maybe trip as well. I don't know. Certainly these skills, are they called, or feats or something? I don't know, but that strikes me as a decent item for such a build. And then earlier on for the same build, I think we're going to be going wisdom based. I don't know how much. We're not going to be casting any healing spells, are we? But insightful wisdom, maybe. No, maybe not, because the devotion and healing law, monks don't cast spells, do they? At least I don't think they do. So I think that's going to be wasted. Did I find anything else? No. And tough luck, Aber, I'm not showing you any more mess than I've shown already. Uh, yeah, I was going to mention about the gear, the possibilities. One of you mentioned the level 12, from the level 12 Lord's March chain. I think it's called the Peril of the Planar Eyes. The rewards in there, you have a wide variety of probably every spell power you could possibly wish for. These malleable and fusible scepters that come out of that chain in the end chests. And for any spell power you could want, I think there's Force, Light, and all the standard stuff, the Sonic, the Acid, Cold, you name it. So you've got the standard power, which is 80 odd for level 12, I think. You've got Insightful, which is another 30 odd, I think. And you've also got the crit chance on one weapon, which would be really nice to have. If I had one of those, I would put a fire one in there, because we've got the light catered for already on our between our orb. That ring's got light crit chance, and the trinket has light spell power, the radiance. So we've gone a bit of a roundabout way about it, but we've got the light sorted, but not the fire at the moment. Fire, as a reminder, we're using both the Scorch spell-like ability from the Tiefling tree, and also this Flame Strike is half fire. And as Wagon pointed out, the other half of that is physical damage, so goes off force. Now, because we're playing about with several different types of stuff here, this choice of scepter, although not totally optimal, it's not terrible either, because it's meant that our spell powers in general are pretty good across the board. So we're using positive for our heals, we're using force in some cases, light and fire. All of them are sort of up around the 250 area, which I think is pretty nice. Also, because of the way the tree gives you crit chance for all the nice stuff that we could want, apart from positive, which is in the other tree. We've got an 8 bonus on all the good stuff, the fire, force, light, and physical. Or physical is force, isn't it? So fire, force, and light, we've got +8 from having all those in the tree. So that's why, even without a fire crit item, we're still rocking 30 crit chance for fire, 35 for light. So not too bad at all. Even the force is up at 20. And the latest spell-like ability we've got at this level, that is force, bludgeon damage, the Comet Fall. So let's discuss where we're at now with the enhancements then. So level 12 spell wise, we got the marvelous heal spell, and I decided, rightly or wrongly, to, especially as I'd never experimented with these tier 5s before, to go all out for that. So the only thing I haven't got in the tier 5 that I want is the extra two points there to get 1 + 1 more in evocation. Everything else we have. So what do we have? We have 3 more max caster level on our fire, light, force, so basically everything we're going to cast to do damage, which is particularly helpful when we note that a lot of the stuff that we are using, a lot of the stuff we seem to be using, no, that's wrong as well, that's a 15, but the Holy Smite, this Scorch thing as well, I think is a 10, that caps at 10, and this Divine Deific Vengeance caps at 10 as well, I think. So a lot of the stuff that we've been using regularly to do damage is kind of stopping improving at level 10, particularly the Holy Smite. So to have something there that's going to allow that, as I understand it, to boost up to a caster level 13 is really nice. So that's one side of the coin. The other side is the Comet Fall knockdown. I'm particularly pleased with, especially as that's the highest level we can cast at the moment. That's a level 6 spell, and as such, does it show there? Yeah, it's got quite a high. Oh, why is it? Maybe it's not classing it as a 6. It's a level 6 spell in the Favoured Soul spellbook, but for some reason, the Holy Smite is a 4, and that has a higher save. Is it? Oh, it's a conjuration. That's not an evocation spell. Oh, what a bummer. Oh, that's a real pain. Oh, that's just unfortunate. I don't get that. That's is the I wonder if the standard spell is. I guess it must be as well. Or at least now we know why. Oh, that's a shame. But anyway, I've acquired that. I've fully meted it, and the knockdown portion is really tasty. I've been leading with that. It's knocking down and doing decent damage. I'm told that because there's no, you can see on the description here, it doesn't mention any maximum level. Apparently that means it scales up to 20. So that's going to keep going up in damage potential as we do, which is nice. But leading with it and getting the knockdown, and then following up with something like the Holy Smite to mop up any stragglers, has been very effective. That leading with that keeps everything together, and this blinds them in addition. And then if there's anything left, you go in with the Scorch, and there isn't much left after that. For the bits that are left or that come towards you, we've got these 3 reliable single target hitters. So very nice. And then I keep the sound burst in reserve, quickened. So if I get set upon by a group or something, I'll just hit the sound burst and then maybe the Holy Smite right on top of me to get rid of whatever's surprised me. It's a continuous sort of a recurring theme down here in these cores. That Archon thing, which I have experimented with, seems so lackluster that I haven't even bothered with it. It says there it only attacks enemies that have already been damaged, so it's never going to just trigger on, like the, let's say the druid's call lightning thing would. Call lightning storm, is it? Yeah. That just sort of goes off on targets next to you. I mean, you could say that's a good thing in a sense that it won't ever provoke something you don't want to provoke, but it means it's going to be doing a lot less damage. I think it's pretty feeble, to be honest. We could say like the rest of these cores up to press, so I haven't even bothered taking that. But the thing up here for the extra caster levels, I know that's very sought after. That's a reason a lot of people go in the Dragonborn for more damage, so I think that must be pretty competitive to have. The Comet Fall we're going to be testing out, so you're going to be seeing that in action. And it's on a relatively short cooldown for a big booming spell like that, so I've been making full use of it, testing it out. Now obviously, wanting to keep the investment in the Tiefling tree as well, I've had to forego the healing the closed wounds in here. Now I can hear what you're all saying, but I did a couple of tester quests, just not really bothering to heal in combat. And if we do need, a desperate heal, I've got the heal there. It's quickened, so I'll just hit that, and hopefully we'll be okay. For little top-ups in between fights, I've got this Cure Serious thing here, not quickened, and I've just been using that. It tops us up quite nicely, maybe 100 plus anyway, and I found that to be more than sufficient. Then if we do really get into trouble, there's this one-click sovereignty thing to go back to full, which I will invariably forget to use and just die hopelessly. but it would be there for somebody who had more about them than I do. So, all that to say, it's maximum attack mode from here with these things. I haven't put back the improved scorch thing yet because, as might be suggested from the fact that this is my sort of meaty area for the big AoE spells, the flame strike's gone up there. So unless we really get into some strife, I don't see flame strike being used too often, at least at the moment. I mean, that's super cheap, that ash thing, and the holy smite's relatively cheap, and so is the comet fall with it being an SLA, and that's got all our metas on. So those are going to be doing the bulk of the lifting, and behind them we've got our single target things, all of which are reasonably cheap. So I'm quite happy with where we are spell wise and enhancement wise. I think the healing will be okay. Well, I hope so, because that's the way I've decided on, at least for now. So gear, no changes. There's nothing changed on the Reaper side of it. Let's have a look, see if we've missed something. Oh yeah, I just exceptionally, I played a bit last night with my endgame caster druid. I was playing with Annie's war chanter bard, so there's some nice cold synergies there, and some great bardic buffs which really help my druid build out. She was doing really big things with the irresistible dance. So again, if your saves are not amazing, something like that is invaluable for holding the nasty things that you can come up against. We did the Tethymar. I thought maybe I might find a rune arm for a future Artificer life for purple, but no luck. And then we did the Age of Rage, where we were fine. We didn't do the last one because that maze thing is just a bit of a blur. But we were fine until we got to the last. Sorry, it's called Disciples of Rage, isn't it? The adventure pack, and the Age of Rage is the quest we had trouble in at the end, the one that finishes with the Beholder and all the eyes. I know colour spray is not bad against them, but even with that, I think if I remember right, we should have got the bard to have, is it glitter dust that just obliterates them as they appear, those eyes? I think that's the mistake we made. We didn't do that, so we failed to complete it, sadly. But it was fun times. It was nice to go back and do something at the cap, having been doing this leveling thing for a while with purple. Yeah, I've noted that in some of the quests leading us up to where we are now with purple, this comet fall and then the holy smite combination, pretty good. I hit the comet fall from the maximum distance away I can, and then follow it immediately with that. And if I've targeted it properly, not too much of the group survives. So that's been really nice. I've already mentioned what I think about the Archon core thing. Yes, I thought I'd mention this because one of you mentioned about using the pawn shop on the guild ship to try and acquire tasty little items. Like, do we have an example here of one? No. The things. Oh yeah, actually I do. Things like this, clickable things to give you a nice advantage. Well, that's probably a poor example because that's too high level. Something like that, for instance. Look, level 2, and that's a 9 bonus to universal spell power at level 2. And I'm pretty sure that came from an end quest chain reward, but Wagon tells me that in the pawn shop you can find these clickable things if you're lucky for low level spells like shield, which can be really nice against magic missiles, and invisibility, situationally super useful. So I might do a little video on that. Just I think the basic premise is you go into the shop, you check the inventory list. If there's nothing you want, you go out. Do you refresh the instance or something? I'll have to read up on that. But then go straight back in and see the new list until you've either found what you want or exhausted your patience. But it seems like a nice little way to go about getting some super useful low level things that might not be native to your character, or at least not available at such low levels like invisibility. If you don't have a guild ship to use, or that your guild ship doesn't have the pawn shop, you can try the one in the marketplace. Same deal apparently. Just thought I'd mention that. I'll see how I get on having a go at that, and if I don't make a total balls of it, I'll try and make a little video of it and show how I went on with it. What's this? Oh, I've already mentioned that. Okay. Right, so quest for today is going to be the final one in the first part of Ravenloft, so the invitation to dinner. Don't do as I often do and forget to pick the thing up from here. Now I know some people can relate the cards that are dealt to what ending there is. I'm certainly not one of them, and even if I could, I don't think I would change. I know some people, if they see those two dragons at the end, which is pretty tough, and I have heard that plenty have died in the hardcore in that area. Sometimes they'll just reset the quest until they get a more favourable ending, shall we say. But that's not for us. Death before dishonour, as we've already seen in the other man's treasure quest. Or should that be stupidity before dishonour in my case? I could totally have been buffing up to save you all the yawn fest of watching this while the cards are dealt. Yet again, incapable of multitasking. No ddoor here, so we're going to have to... Well, I could have brought the... I think it's is it a level... I can't remember what level the fighter is. There's a fighter that has a ddoor, but that would be kind of cheesy, so we're going to do the fighting there. So what have we got? I'm not going to bother with the death card. That's an optional to fight Strahd again, but we have to go to these two, so we're going in the basement and the chapel. But first of all, we have to go and meet our host. So I'm told the best thing to do if you don't have the ddoor to just get out of here once you've spoken to him is to go around the back of here, so they can only attack you, you know, one or two at a time and can't surround you. So let's try that. Let's go with a Reaper power boost, because these big things can be somewhat nasty. Where are you? There we go. Now we can... They are vulnerable to crowd control, those things, aren't they? Can we blind them? Or knock them down even? I think we could use a heal as well here. See, the heal did very nicely there. Oh! Ah! God! Typical me. The heal did very nicely there, and dead. Um, I know there's a curse that stacks up on you, and maybe that's what happened there. The curse that I think it just lower your level progressively. I can't sort of rewind it back to see what if that was what happened, but it could have been that. I definitely didn't hold them properly, did I? Definitely not. If if I had a DDO, I could use the gibbers, or if I knew where a shrine was. But I don't think that door opens unless these are dead. I'm pretty sure I'm right in that respect. So I think we're going to die come what may here. We'll at least try and take one of the buggers with us. Look at the damage that's doing. So the that's actually embarrassing because we clearly had the resources to really hurt them. I really don't know where a shrine is. Is there one down at the bottom here? Oh, crud. If there isn't, I fear we are ghost. No. So, should have known the quest better, I guess, for these kinds of incidents. Or, as you'll quite rightly point out, should have brought a hireling. It's a shame that, because we were going along really well, and as we saw, we were quite capable of holding the things with the sound burst. So that was just a really sorry effort and a bad mistake. And I believe the second example, this life, where I have basically gone round the first corner of the quest and died hopelessly. So can we go back in and try that again? Oh, that's another thing. I hope Abba's not watching this because I never remember to bind somewhere where I can go and let's do it now. Show that we know where to go. I think this point by the 12, which is right next to the guild ship, is just about the best. That's if you don't bind inside the ship itself, which I should have done but never do. There we go. Yeah, that's doubly frustrating. Not that they're not hard. I'm sure plenty of folk die in there. That's why they all use the DDO to get out before the fight. But we had the means to control those and just didn't do it. That's really unfortunate. Where are we going, Jarasco? Okay, let's try not to do it as badly again this time. Was I right to go behind that? I actually came out from behind the thing. Maybe that's what had me in such bad shape. I don't know, because they didn't actually come round looking for me, did they? And it was me that went out and found them. Let's see if we sit in behind that that area. Can we have a bit better outcome? Well, I'm tempted to say it can't be any worse. That was appallingly bad. We very quickly went from. I remember literally just saying, "Oh well, you see, the heels are good." So we were close to top, weren't we? And then dead. That's your department, Wagon. I'm trusting you to watch back and tell me exactly what happened. If I had to guess, we had too many stacks of that curse. So what I was reading as full health was in fact about 200 hit points and not 500 and odd. That would be my guess. Plus the fact they were both red crown, so any hit would have been liable to be a crit, I guess. See, 179, I don't think that was a crit either. So the top up healing between fights is fine.
Swells of organ music, fraught with defiance, determination.
I'm not buying, by the way, that closed wounds could have saved us in there, because it just happened so quickly. I'd literally just pressed the heal, hadn't I, and it all went to death. Right, so we're going in here, and we are not moving out of cover of here. Oh, spell just fizzled, that's not a good sign. I think that was one where they just come round the side of you. And again. If you block, by the way, when those swords come over your head, you don't take the damage. Found that really... Oh! Soundburst. Now we'll use the flame strike. Try and keep them held there. No, hold. It's not working. Can we soundburst you? No, it's not working. But the light did. Right, okay. I think that was a mistake as well, of one of many. They're clearly damaged very badly by the light, and I just didn't do the light attacks until it was too late. Did we get another chest back there? Now, yeah, this curse thing, when it builds up, does that just wear off naturally, or do I need to do a thing here? I will do that. So yeah, it's always 100 plus the top up heal. So I think that's alright. It's not costing us too much mana to do. So where are we going now? Third floor. Oh no, we've got to go to the bottom floor first for that, haven't we? And then the third floor, okay. And just beware of these ghoulies and things down here now. Not this time. They took half my buffs away though, the buggers. And it wasn't even the bottom floor we were supposed to go, it's the next to bottom. I don't know now which buffs we've still got and which we haven't. Have we lost the magic missile one? I think we have. I think we might have lost spell resist as well. Have we still got death ward? Yeah. Heroism we don't though. Right. think this fellow is reasonably easy to get to part with this key. Bluff is a charisma base, so we shouldn't have too bad a bluff. There we go.
To trick this poor creature out of its key. You tell yourself it was for the greater good.
And now it's all on the 3rd floor, isn't it? Oh, nice. So that was floor 1 we just passed. 2. It tells you at the top if you're confused what floor you're. And 3. So both our objectives are on this floor, which is handy. Oh, actually, I'll go and get the bath chamber thing first. I think that's over here, isn't it?
You have found an ally within Ravenloft. If Esmeralda had not told you of the ward barriers around the castle, and the keystone needed to escape them, finding the icon of Ravenloft would be all for naught.
Couple of collectible things, and then we are going down here for this seek entry below. There's a couple of golems here we need to beat up. Now, what did we say? I think one of you said we need to use the flame strike against golem. Maybe the comic fall, that's physical damage, isn't it? That should do. Try and get them together and use the comic fall. Actually, that was a really bad idea, wasn't it? In the middle of all that, flames are giving them health back, aren't they? The comet won't, but I mustn't use any more fire. Silly bugger. Okay. If you have a pick lock like a rogue thing or a knock spell, you could forego the key that I went to get for this, but I have neither, so I needed the key.
The door exiting Castle Ravenloft crackles with arcane energy. Mystical wards block your egress. When you open the iron chest, a silver
Upper servants, that's the basement thing again, isn't it?
It is the icon of Ravenloft. A sense of peace
Where am I going here?
as
That
you
way?
hold the icon of Ravenloft in your hands and stow it securely in your pack.
I think we're doing alright for spell points, aren't we? So let's get the old feather fall item on so we don't do like last time and drop all the way to the bottom. I think we're there. Pressing shift while feather falling down disables the feather fall. If you've got a big fall like the one at the beginning of Spies in the House, you can and you don't want to take your feather fall item off, you can make it much faster a fall just by holding shift until you've got to where you want to be. I learnt that in the what's the latest Snow Peaks challenge quest, that one where you have an awful lot of falling and stuff to do. That was a hell of a thing. For any of you who's ever done that, let me know how you went on with it. You know, the Mario sections where you're miles up in the air and one sort of mistake and you'd be back to the start again. At least they had waypoints, didn't they? So you didn't have to go all the way back to the start. I remember Ol and I spent ages, and it just felt it was one of those moments. Yes, I've made it! We finally got to the end. And I've just noticed, speaking of end, we've got the dragons. Oh, whoop-de-doo. Now there's 4 of them. Are our spell points going to last, I wonder? Or should I have taken an opportunity to shrine somewhere? Probably should have done, but it's too late now. And at least if I die this time... where am I going? At least if I die this time, we're close enough to the end and you'll have seen most of it anyhow, so... We should more than probably rebuff, shouldn't we, at this point? Especially again, I think these are black dragons, aren't they, for acid? We've got some gargoyle-y things coming here. Thank you. Let's put the dodge bonus on, see what we can do with that. Oh, that's not a good start, is it? So that's how it's going to be. Quick heal in there, look at that, nice. Beautiful. Can we do that again? Nope. Oh God. Give him some. Come on. If we're gonna die, let's at least die trying. Beautiful. Press all keys and hope for the best. Well, not quite, but it wasn't far off. Consider ourselves avenged. And yeah, I can absolutely see why people don't want to risk that on hardcore. That knockdown thing, I've already died once this life by being knocked down by those Aquamancer things in the Isle of Dread first quest on the boat and just not getting up. I had a feeling history was about to repeat there, so very grateful that it didn't. Happy days. Sorry for the egg on face incident at the first attempt, but at least there you'll see the authenticity of the of the whole thing. There's no pre-recording or anything here. If it's crap, it's crap, and you get to see the warts and all. I think that's probably about it for this one. I plan to go into the desert sands next because there are some level 10s in there. I think the walk up ones are 10, aren't they? And maybe one or two of the No, I think all the ones that actually qualify you for the raid are 11 plus, aren't they? Offer of Blood and Chains of Flame. I think they're 11s, and I think the Wiz King is 12, something like that. Not that it matters too much, but I'll probably might not do Wiz King because I've got nothing to really spell-wise to use on him, and I don't fancy sitting in there for 10 minutes trying to find something that might damage him. So I won't do that. But I'll go for most of the others, probably with the exception of the Chains of Flame, because I don't fancy spending half an hour running to the quest and then another half an hour doing it. Right, although it does mean we're going to miss out on the raid. I might do. I'll see how I'm feeling when I get in there. I might do this time. We didn't do the raid last time, did we? And the pre-raid. So maybe we'll give that a go this time around. Okay, I think that's about it for this one. Somewhat of an up and down episode, I think we can agree. Thank you very much as always for looking, and I will speak to you soon. Take care.